We'll see here.
I don't know, BetBoom's kind of crazy. You know, maybe they run the Dusa and they go, actually, it's a 5 Dusa the whole time, right? Who knows? Please, no. I didn't think the Storm was so successful, but I do feel like that was more because Storm CK, right, and Wraith King, more than the Storm itself, right? I think if you pick a DK now, it balances out the Storm's weaknesses early because he brings a lot of consistent push. And especially with a Pugna, right, you have these two heroes that they take towers without actually committing much. You Nether Blast, you Dragon Form, you hit a little bit, but you don't actually go full on and take a team fight, like, say, a Lycan or Lone Druid do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Something as well for Navi to consider with their final 2 picks, which are going to almost certainly be their safe laners, is they have to be ready for Natus to kind of just run at them at level 6. It seems like it has been a little bit of a surprise for them the past 2 times. Granted, solo, he dies just absorbing XP. Like, they have been acceptable deaths, but it's certainly something that Natus has prevailed on in both Games 1 and Game 2. So certainly something to take note of if you're Navi. I wonder what BetBoom are considering here, myself.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, obviously the chain got taken out, so that's the core of the strategy. And maybe that was the plan they had against the Dusa. Maybe they are thinking what I was talking about with the anti-mage pick. I mean, again, it's a free anti-mage game right now, right? Yeah. With a Storm. But you also want to save it, perhaps, against the Dusa comes out. But of course, if you save it, then you're probably going to get banned, right? So
I'm thinking of what else you could use to buff a Visage, to be honest. I don't know if Venge Aura works on the familiars. Shadow Demon. Okay, so just to save, some counter initiation, Demonic Purge. Not so good.
Gives you more time. This is the gives you more time hero.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's good against the Pugna a lot, especially as a 4, because he has much more impact. He can buy an early Glimmer, and that Demonic Purge destroys you as a save. And Disruption is good. I mean, he's just a great hero against Pugna. As a 5, he's a relatively weak 5, though, in the lane, so you have to be worried about that. But DK Pugna is not the biggest kill lane either, so it should be. You're not expecting to kill a DK anyway, so I think you can get away with a Shadow Demon 5. Now, this is the quintessential. This is the pick. This is the pivotal pick here for BetBoom.
I kind of like a DP here. No, a Bane. Okay, because DP is still in the pool and hasn't been contested, to my knowledge, in the series at all. Maybe the region just isn't, a big fan of it.
There's the Dusa.
There's the Dusa.
I will say, though, really good anti-Dusa supports. Shadow Demon gets her illusions, which is incredible for fights. Obviously, Demonic Purge can be a nuisance as well, especially if you use it around the time of Stone Gaze, because you prevent that movement speed. And Bane's Fiend's Grip, my favorite ability against Dusa, because the mana drain for the Fiend's Grip is actually percentage-based mana, right? It's 5%, I believe, of your mana every second.
You're correct.
Brutal.
At every level. At every level.
Yes, at every level. So even level 1 is really strong. And if you run this Bane 4, which is still potential, it's good lane with Mars after all. You could actually get an Axe. And then the Dusa Stone Gaze, not that scary, because Bane, the illusions have to get turned to stone as well. Bane doesn't have to get to stone. It's a whole thing. Stone Gaze doesn't destroy illusions anymore.
An expensive item for Bane to farm. I think we did see it in our last series simply because the game had like 12 Roches, in fact, to the point where they were denying Axe blessings.
But if you're 4, it's not crazy, right? If you're 4, it's a more viable item. That's why I'm saying it.
It certainly isn't. Good setup as well. Bane, Mars lane is very good. Right, Nightmare obviously into Spear, into plenty of damage. The save as well. Now you have double save, which is really good. Disruption on top of Nightmare to stack this, which does free you up to use one or the other in an aggressive manner and not immediately just die, because you can rely on the other one.
What's the pick? Okay, I was curious about this Wind Ranger.
Whoa!
So I'm assuming like a Diffusal Blade Wind Ranger to deal with Storm and Medusa? I think that's the build.
And the Pugna even, right? It's going to absolutely murder him, not to mention Power Shot. Okay. So you're looking for a last support here then for Navi. I do love that tree ban. I think that's definitely a good one here and would have absolutely neutered their push.
I think Disruptor is a bit too weak, unfortunately, here. But I think you could do it. You could go Ogre, by the way, just to be easy. But obviously against Shadow Demon, that feels a bit worse.
Yeah, I'm thinking if there's any save left, actually. I wouldn't mind a little bit of a save.
There's a Baton, which is fine. Actually, Baton not bad here.
Yeah.
Disruption's a bit annoying against a Baton, but...
We have seen Core Dazzle in this region, in these qualifier events, but not support. So, it's something that the teams have tinkered with. I can't help but wonder if maybe you consider it. It's
Dazzle's
not the
pretty
craziest.
Bad with Dusa, though, right?
Okay, it's going to be the but I was just mentioning another save. Oracle is, of course, absolute garbage tier right now, but because we've seen Dazzle. Yeah,
I like the Baton pick. A good way to deal with Fiend's Script after the Stone Gaze is done, if Storm can't jump the Bane, so that's important. And immediately after they see that, by the way, Soneko is 5. There's no question about putting Soneko, or the Bane is 5. There's no question about putting him as a 4. Especially now, Shadow Demon has much more utility here. That potential Ag Shard build Ags and Ags shard build, right? Really, really good this game. That the Abaddon is present. I'm not sure about again. The Visage throws a wrench into anything. Like, I'm just off the deep end, right? I don't know how Visage drafts work. This is the only team I've ever seen run a Visage draft in competitive in the past, like, year and a half. So, especially as a carry. So, I don't know. Last time the Dusa proved to be too strong for the Visage. I can see the Wind Ranger and Bane being good counters, but I do feel like the execution has to be really on point here for BB.
Just a quick question for you on a quick mechanic. Are you silenced when you're nightmared? I don't believe so, right?
Oh, as in, no, you can activate the curse.
Okay, so you're not silenced. Okay. Yeah. So
you have to disrupt him. You have to disrupt him.
Yeah. Yes, of course. So that's at least the counter there, or you can push him away with spear. It's gonna be an interesting one. BetBoom have got some pretty decent, like, it's all single target, but when you string them together, it could very well be good enough against NaVi,
Right.
because of course you have the Mars Arena to act as the glue to kind of tie it all together. NaVi as well, just again picking strong heroes it just kind of seems to be their strategy. Nothing wrong with this lineup, but once again, like Storm DK, sure, it's decent kill squad, but the supports don't bring the damage. It's not like you have like a DK into a Skywrath like we see a lot of other regions really like to go for.
Right.
So it's just like it feels like NaVi.
North America, but yeah.
Right, yeah. It just feels like NaVi they need to like win lanes and kind of snowball a little bit for some momentum, which they certainly can do because they've got some really good laners by all means.
Yeah, I mean there are some combos, right? I think the tempo of this draft is better organized. Like last time, I had an explosive power spike. This is more of a ladder lineup where you have a hero that's good at every point in the game, which is nice. You know, Storm and Dusa kind of peak in the mid game. Storm a little bit earlier than Dusa. Well, the first power spike to get, right? The DK obviously carries your early game momentum with Pugna and Abaddon. The Dusa then carries your late, together with the Storm eventually as well.
Yep.
I like the lineup. It's a good, solid lineup.
Level 1 fight. The Hawk, of course, ready to go on the Soul Assumption. We'll see how many he gets off this time around.
Okay, Aphotic Shield. Make sure Lays survives here.
Yeah,
and honestly, when I talk to Beast Coast, they also are big fans of SyncQ as like a person. They just think he's very memeable face as well. And I think this is one of my favorite sprays in the game. It's incredible.
Runes should go just 2 apiece. Although BetBoom are making a play for the 3rd. With Bonk though, nothing you can really do to disrupt solo, and so he's going to be able to make it 2 for 2 quite easily. Okay, this time starting off a bit differently. I will quickly take note that Soneko has blocked now 2 camps actually. He is going to find his small camp dewarded pretty much immediately and ask for a high 5 to see if SeekNStrike has vision up here. He doesn't, but just to check.
That's so cute that they do these kind of plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to check it. They're, like they use these things which are just from friendliness in Dota and to show it's a game to try to like squeeze every bit of efficiency out of this game. All right, we'll see as well how the Visage lasts hits against DK because he went for Breathe Fire level 1. Great way to deal with his Visage. You know, not the most base damage with Breathe Fire, even less. It's kind of hard to last it. You're not gonna kill him, so you might as well do this and at least try to outlast him instead.
Nice job as well. Force Major top lane using Disruption of all things to secure the last hit versus Fatoon. Solo is, I don't want to say completely free in this lane, but like the early levels feel pretty decent for him. He's kind of just, he might even consider, in fact, the point in Curse. Although if he does that, then actually, no, you don't want to do that because then Shadow Demon destroys you actually with Disruption. So he's probably not going to do it as much as he would really like to because he can have a lot of impact in this lane by just being a bully.
Yeah.
I
feel like the lane here by BetBoom is like it's a good lane, don't get me wrong, but it's more of a kill lane. Obviously, Abandon stops that because your disruption sets up for the spear, doesn't really do much, and your harassment is just okay. Once you get level 3 on Force Major, you might be able to do a little bit more, but right now you're just very weak. And the reason why Soul, by the way, does not go for Curse is because disruption gets Curse.
Yes, so I just said that. Yeah, I just said that.
So that's why I don't think you'll get it at all in the lane. I don't know if you even get it afterwards. I've seen some Abandons actually go for stats, by the way, before the Curse.
Yeah, that's something to consider.
It's just against Disruptor, because it is a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah, you mean Shadow Demon, but yeah.
Sorry,
of course.
Yeah, my mind went elsewhere, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's called Disruption. It's kind of annoying.
But yeah, I don't think this lane is going to be a winnable lane for BB. I feel like it's just farm on the Dusa.
Yeah, lots of farm as well for
stuff.
Vatoon. Just so much space that Solo is able to make. Interrupting the pull there as well. Looking pretty easy here. Mid lane, looking over here, just to comment on it a bit. No one has had his lane unblocked, sorry, his camp unblocked. Seems like Laurel is going to be maxing power shot, and so he's going to be able to push waves, farm, and harass. Seems like a kind of a you farm, I farm kind of lane, especially with the point in wind run. I just don't really see no one getting a kill in this lane, either without a rotation or some pretty serious mispositioning from Laurel.
Yeah, I don't think you really get the kill. Maybe with ball lightning, though, honestly, it is possible.
Yeah, at level 6, sure. At level 6, true.
But you're right. I don't think in the lane you probably get a kill. Storm he's okay against ranged heroes because his stats are so good. He just last hits them, right? Against them, sorry. But he doesn't really get a kill. He's the melee killer.
Yeah, you know, funny enough, actually, in this matchup anyway, very specific.
That power shot?
Yeah, that was
yeah, that's an M. That's a
yeah, no one
frame,
even
dude.
gets to deny.
See how good
tilt
Q is? His face is just amazing for memes.
In this matchup, even though Storm probably would wish it was the opposite, if you miss the attack, if you have an overload at least, and you miss the attack, overload does not actually proc. So Laurel has got a lot of counterplay here with Windrun.
Oh, right, that's true. Yeah. That's a good point, actually. You can hit the creep nearby, right, with the splash.
True, no, that's right. But I guess if you're like chasing them down or whatever, right, in those situations.
Totally right.
Yeah.
I don't think Wind will die afterwards either, especially once you get Javelin. Is usually that's the build you go for the Maelstrom. Some of the Wind Rangers only go for Javelin. I don't know. I've never seen a Wind Ranger actually go for Diffusal in competitive. It's more of a thing you see in pubs. I would say it's a good build this game. And Diffusal did get buffed considerably, not being cheaper. But we'll see if Wind decides to go for it as well.
So far, I mean, just taking a look at the quick buy for Laurel, which of course can change.
Yeah,
it seems to be Javelin and then Boots, Maelstrom.
Because like Dusa is bad against, in general, any sort of overwhelming single target damage. So Diffusal is not necessarily needed to kill her, right? So that's why I don't think that you actually have to go for it. But it's good against Storm too, so...
Yeah, and again, Force Major really starting to struggle in the top lane, as we both predicted. No points in the Curse, as no need, really. More healing for Vitoon, right? Not like he is being really too challenged in this lane.
I mean, they're keeping a really good lane equilibrium here on BetBoom, and Force Major is making sure that there's no pulls here. Abaddon is not the best hero at doing that either. No,
he's not, and Shadow Demon amongst Katalas are one of the better heroes at stopping pulls, because you can just aggro them over and over with Shadow Poison.
Exactly.
Solo eats that tree. He's like, stop hiding behind that tree. I'm done with that.
So in the end, I don't feel like Navi's taking a massive advantage of this lane. They're going to go for a kill here attempt. They have to spear him back.
She's out of mana.
Vitoon, but they have a Photic Shield. God's Rebuke, good slow. 2 stacks of Shadow Poison, not enough. Remember that Shadow Poison
level 2. So, you know, if it could start to stack and add up, although he's missed at least the stack timer if that's what he intended to do.
I don't think I think he just...
Oh, what's going on? The supports are fighting. Support on support. I don't know who wins this. Seneko doesn't have a stick. Oh, but he dodges at least another blast. And he will disengage.
He had a mango enough to get the last brain sap, and Pugna knows. In solo fights against Bane, it's, you know, the brain sap is the key. Okay, he did this in the game against Team Spirit as well, right? Where Seneko decided, no more triangle for you, and just took
Seneko,
over.
how has your courier ended up here, sir?
Oh, because he forgot. Oh no. Awkward.
Oh no, run!
It's not
run,
getting any
little
items,
crab.
though.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, I must have had something. Okay. I guess
Sweden Strong is like, alright, they didn't ward our triangle, so what do? They probably blocked our caps.
No, this courier is just, yes, on a mission. Okay, little guy. He'll make it home. But the action's in the mid lane where Laurel gets a fantastic shackle onto 2.
Yeah, that's very good.
And that's going to stop no one from
the
going
crab,
aggressively.
Richie. The crab.
That's a spider.
He's fouled by Pugna. The crab, there's a coconut crab. Those massive,
no, it's a spider. It has 8 eyes.
It goes for the bounty room, but crabs can't pick up bounties because they don't like gold.
Nope.
They're allergic to gold, actually.
Oh my god, remember, by the way, like the 3 days in Dota 2 when couriers could use items? Imagine if that had progressed even further. Couriers can attack.
I missed it. the Dagon army of couriers, and there was one meme video with Flight of the Valkyries and the
I loved it for the TI-10. Don't call it a meme video. It was a finalist for the TI-10 short film competition.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great video. Don't get me wrong. I don't think meme is an insult.
It was hilarious.
It was very good.
That's always genuinely a highlight. All the content creators. Shout out to them. Solo?
You are technically one too.
Yeah, but I don't make interesting or funny videos.
That's true. Interesting or funny is not our forte.
Nope.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
No. We're good at podcast style.
We do have a nightmare available, so I'll set up for the shackle shot. Is there javelin? There is javelin.
Yep.
Like what is the stun for? Lays. Oh no, they messed up there. It's okay. The nightmare Gets a spell.
Next power shot ready.
Didn't really hit it, and Lays will die, but it took a while, so Neko
that was
actually
first
dies
blood.
as a result. First blood for Laurel here. As he retreats with the Haste Rune. In comes the Storm, though. Haste Rune's about to end. The Hawk just got his level 6. He's going to cover Laurel's retreat, but can he cover his own? And both TPs are here. They want to continue this fight.
So
Another
close.
missed power shot. SeekNStrike will try to retreat, and they do save him with a missed coil, but unfortunately, Shackle Shot will spell his doom.
I got him. Got him eventually, and Dahak is going to be able to get in range and even heal up the familiars. I thought he was going to lose the familiars, and that would have been pain for him, as he had just hit level 6, but he actually is going to be able to repel the storm, and Solo doesn't have enough Aphotic shields to save the rest of his allies, so that's a pretty big win there for BB. I believe they lose the Bane. Bane BB is lost, is banished, I should say, to continue the alliteration, but the fight is won. No one makes a big old zip and doesn't find anything for it. In fact, his stack's now going to be contested. Just a small camp stack, so not the biggest deal, and it's kind of 50-50 who it goes to there.
I never considered, by the way, but of course the focus fire forced you to hit no matter what, right? Especially if you come out as stun. So there was no way you couldn't get Nightmare there, which sucked for Laurel.
Oh yeah,
I was wondering why that happened, right? Because it's a very basic mistake. But yeah, I don't think Laurel could do that. If you get stunned and you're still in range, right? You don't get the time. You don't have the chance to like move away.
Oh,
and
Vatoon? Yeah, I forgot the possess mask. He's gonna pick that one up. That's a nice one to carry for himself.
Huge. Vatoon was a crazy good Deucer in the first game. I mean, all he had to do was farm, but he farmed well, and that's commendable.
Yeah, that
He's gonna go for the same build again. Monte into Scotty. Maybe this time he skips the Dragonlance because he doesn't have a Trim Protector, so he feels a bit more threatened to get the score items earlier.
Yeah, and very reasonable, right? At least respecting now that this Dahak, this Dahak Visage can actually have a game. He has not queued up yet his secondary item. Seems like he always goes for 1 or 2 nulls in the lane, immediately into drums. That seems to be core. So again, eventually Boots of Bearing, but whether it'll be AC, Solar Crest, or the Acceptor, we have to wait and see for Dahak. Seems to be always between those 3 items.
I really do like the Ags once again. I know it's against Tusa, and I think the logic last time was a different one. But
and DK, to be honest, and the Storm.
I mean, Storm is still good. Storm you can kill with Ags, right? I agree with the DK and Tusa comment. I feel like you can actually kill DK with Visage if you have at least one person to help.
Yeah, I think if you have Soul Catcher, right, I think it's doable.
Oh, right, Soul Catcher, yeah, on
Shadow Diva, yeah. Might be a big
one. So many
there.
soul abilities, right? I was thinking Soul Assumption, but he always has that.
Oh, true. Soul Assumptions, Soul Bind.
Yeah, a lot of souls in Dota. SeekNStrike. He's a poor soul, a lost soul, but he's a
but
fast
he's a fast
soul.
one. Yeah.
Thank you, Richie, for reading my mind. No one does take the double damage rune. It's weird, right? Because all the other heroes that are fast usually have 4
There's
legs,
Arena.
I was
about to say, it's been a while since we've had an Arena, and noticed it's very quick. Yeah, once the Abba shows in lane, Notice was quick to make the play. Vatoon was farming in lane for a while because as a Deuce, she can simply out-tank it. Ooh, but the Hawk, they're going to find him.
Oh, okay. And they also get his familiars, which is almost as valuable as the hero himself. That Hawk kill is much more valuable than whatever kill on solo you get. I mean, yeah, it was pre-6 solo, which is a big deal for Notice. Like, congratulations, but it's still a 5. In fact, look at solo. He's
right
just
back.
TPing. This is my job. I am a 5 player, and he just needs to kill 1 more creep, and this creep will give him the experience for the level 6. Solo knows this, which is why he tries to do a Aphotic. Can't, because it's immediately purged by the Demonic Purge.
He even heals off that. Pose Major on the run. He's got a disruption if he needs. They are wasting times here, a little bit of time anyway for Lays, who was pushing elsewhere on the map. And now there's going to be a dragon here. Oh, they're actually blocking Lays. They'll look at a turn because Dahak is here with the 1 familiar. Has 2 more to summon if he really wants to. 4 stacks of the Shadow Poison. Make it 5. Make it just dead, says Force Major. That's a big kill.
So he used the Quelling Blade to chase, right? And then he got stuck with a disruption afterwards because he couldn't break the tree, which is interesting. So then NaVi lose their offlaner. They also lose their tower. Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And here we saw an interaction that's going to be important later in the game. Demonic Purge will dispel the Aphotic Shield immediately. And much like Inkswell, when that ability is dispelled, it does blow up. So whatever damage you've dealt will be dealt in the area. However, because it's dispelled immediately, there's no damage to be tanked, right?
Yes, I believe so.
That's what we saw there. There was no animation when it got dispelled. It just kind of faded away.
Oh, just a quick Fiend's Grip. Probably not good luck trying to cancel this one.
Oh, well, they canceled it with the Aphotic Shield, so it worked out.
And the Decrep did a lot of work, too.
Yeah, it helped out. SeekNStrike. He knew what he was doing. Unfortunately, that TP is going to be canceled easily by Disruption. He is going to go down here, but maybe taking a Shadow Demon with him.
Oh, close.
He is delaying this a lot, though, which is as much as he can do. Well played, SeekNStrike. That's as much as you can do as a Pugna. You are a 4. Sucks to lose a 4 like that, but you saved your Storm. Totally worth it.
And once again, BetBoom, they always show an eagerness to defend their tier 1s a bit early on. Whether it was by pressure at the Bane bottom, kind of being a little bit threatening to the DK or something else, by any means, he does end up teleporting to that top lane and ends up dying. So that's during his maybe second Elder Dragon form. So they're going to have to come back and push for this tier 1 tower down bottom because it's still very healthy. And mid, I believe, is basically untouched. It's still very healthy here as well. So lots of time for Dahak to settle on his item, which will be, drumroll please, the AC again.
Okay, so apparently that's the build against Dusa. I'm really curious. I want to get Dahak in the post-game interview. There's nobody else I could ask about this, right? So I want to know about this AC versus the Ags build. He must think that there's no way that you can catch people as easily, like we were mentioning earlier, which is fair enough. Yeah, but of course, I'm scared that he's going to go back into the farming visage that we saw in the first game, which was unsuccessful, right?
I mean, just once again, it's like they do first phase the visage. They've done it all 3 games, by the way, and it's just such a tough visage game. I mean, now you've got a Aphotic Shield to dispel your bonks or whatever. You've got a Necro, or you've got a Pugna to apply the Decrepify. You've got one hero who's extremely mobile on the Storm Spirit. You had another really tanky hero, and then just Dusa, right? Need I say more about her?
Yeah, exactly, right? She's the hardest hero to gank, right? I did think that you had enough kill potential with them, but fair enough. Also, there's a point to be made that if you go for the Ags, you do the same thing as Wind Ranger already does, right? So maybe that's also part of the reason.
Yeah, very good point, actually. That's perhaps some consideration. So once again, this Visage hero, which at least to me has always been a little bit about applying earlier pressure. You know, you've got huge spike at level 6. You're one of the better heroes in the game, in fact, immediately at level 6 because of your familiars. He's going to play like a hard carry. He's going to probably ignore a couple of fights. He's going to farm up a very expensive first item, and he's just going to be moving around the map from camp to camp for the most part.
Yep. Going to see that Hyperstorm being finished up for the Hawk. We'll see how that changes. AC is definitely really useful to at least take objectives, so we're going to see that impact coming into play. Let's see if they can do it like last game. Lara already built up that Maelstrom, as you mentioned. And we're going to take this tower now mid. That's going to open up the enemy jungle. And they could do the play where they open up the triangle again. I just think, once again, they don't have an incredible team fight to be able to do that as easily. You're better off taking the enemy jungle. It's easier to find around that
This
area.
is a move, though, and they might have this with Focus Fire. Yeah, but Storm doesn't have BKB. He's one component away. There's no Blink either for the DK, so I'm not really sure how NaVi looked to propose this fight. They kind of just have to walk in, or I guess zip in, but without magic immunity, that's a tall order.
Yeah, and you don't... This is one of the weaknesses having a DK draft, right? The enemy team bunches up and they just fight you. Like, what do? You Dragon Tail one, and then the other ones kill you, right? If you had any other off-laner, there was still more chances of fighting this, but you don't really have an AoE stun. And in fact, with this play, they're actually going to go and catch a Storm. Now, Fiend's Grip is good. They're going to try to maximize his damage by using the Spear towards the end, spearing away from the Pugna. Well played. Nice. Hit before the Crep actually hits. And now the arena's used to keep SeekNStrike in play. Solo's coming in to help out his fellow support.
Good
but Solo has been nightmared. Doesn't want to activate that Kabaro time just yet. SeekNStrike, though, will die. A couple of seconds of life turn before he falls.
That's a big pick off here for BetBoom, especially because that actually occurs almost basically underneath NaVi vision. That's the second time that they catch him here. The first one, of course, didn't pan out into a kill. This one does, on top of losing out on Aegis. So it's kind of like a 1-2 punch here for NaVi in this early game.
TP by Soneko? Okay, he hit the courier twice. Like, all right, if you can't kill it, my mama used to say, if you can't kill it in 2 hits, just leave.
Just leave. Bane's mother, of course,
Natasha, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Isn't that what he always says?
I actually have no clue. I just the only Bane line I know is Blink Dagger. Ah.
I just love it. It's my favorite line. It made me purchase Blink as a noob on Bane for so many games. It was not a good build to go for as a Bane 5. I briefed a lot of games, but it was worth it for the 1% chance. Lays in a top
speaking
lane,
of Blink,
could be a kill.
Yeah, he's got Blink now, though. He's Blink Dagger. So he's good.
Noticed has it. It was like, and he's going to try to hunt the DK down. Of course, Lays acknowledges this. He leaves.
No one, I'm sorry to cut you off. No one has decided to break off his BKB build. He's just going to hold on to the Ogre X for now. Still 200 HP, but seems to be quite interested in going for the Orchid.
Okay, Orchid is very valuable here because if Abaddon wastes a Aphotic Shield, you can't cancel a Fiend's Grip reliably, right? Because there's no way DK saves his Dragon Tail for the Bane, right? So I can see that being for the Storm. Maybe no one realized that. And if you go BKB, you still have to deal with a Bane, right? Yep. So I think Storm is realizing this Bane's a problem. let's fix it. And Orchid will be the fix.
Ooh,
he will
the
eventually
Hawk.
go for BKB anyway.
Okay, that was weird. He just lost his familiars to the tower multi-shot. Not a big deal, I guess, because he wanted to resummon them anyway, but you lose the ability to get forced. Yeah, but now you lose the ability. I guess if you're going to fight mid. I don't know. It's still kind of, it's not great. Because now, like, you generally want to always save that ability, because if you need to TP and fight elsewhere, your familiars don't TP to you. That's the biggest downside of this hero.
But I'm thinking is the Hawk is looking at his inventory. He's 1,000 gold away from AC. He's definitely going to wait for that. No way he's fighting, right?
That's right.
And
He's a hard
carry.
carry.
Tank. Yeah,
he's a hard carry. You're exactly right.
So I like this. I think this play is good. Now they take over the tier 2. The enemy jungle is yours, and it's their moment to start boarding your jungle, right? So they can actually go in and exchange the jungles. Luckily this time, because BB doesn't have such a great team fight draft early, they haven't taken the tier 1 offlane either.
Yep.
They can't take over the triangle, so Vitoon is a place to draft.
And speaking of the triangle, that triangle was warded for a while, or Ops pointed out. Eventually it does get dewarded here by Navi. So good on them as they find that, and that'll remove any kill potential from PP. We've been sitting on this Mars Blink Dagger for a while. It's gotten a couple plays out for sure, but it's going to be mostly time for Natus now to farm his own BKB online. That'll probably, I imagine, be the next go time here for BetBoom, as they are about to, yes indeed, now just finish off the Wind Ranger, pardon me, BKB. So she now has that little bit of match community. Checking in with no one who has committed actually for Orchid. It's flying towards him now.
I don't think it's has to do with the Bane here. Probably the team even had a conversation about it. Like Solo was saying, guys, I literally cannot be the only one to dispel the Bane. If I'm not there, my carry dies. So the Bane was a really anti-Dusa pick. I honestly cannot stress enough how much this hero counters Dusa completely. She might even have to consider going for eventually the Shard Ags build, because that does stop the...
Yes, it will, until Bane gets Ags, which is, again, is a bit of a pipe dream, as there's going to be a Blink Arena. They only catch, well, the 2, but of course no one is here. And, yeah, he knows Solo is nearby, so he's not even going to use the mana there. Notice is just out.
That, once you get the arena like that, right, you know you can't do anything. You got to celebrate inside the arena for a little bit.
Yeah, Mars dances inside the arena.
He does. Very cute, actually.
Dances to the tune of Holst the Planets, Mars.
You want to explain why that tune is special for Mars?
Yeah, it's because it's one of the first... Well, first of all, it was written after the horrors of World War I, so it was a very chilling time. Okay. It was written at a time where basically the only way you could really get people to imagine how bad it was, one, yes, through some images that were not really, they were censored for the most part, and two, music. That's how people figured it out. They were like, wow, this is a terrible and scary song, because it's written in 5/4 time signature.
Which is unnatural, right, to humans?
Which is very unnatural. We're used to 4/4. We like 3s for the waltzes, but 5/4 is very jarring. That 5th note every single time, it's really hard to expect. Yeah, it's a good one.
If you're like me, chat, you don't understand what she's saying. But doesn't it make you sound smart? Does it make you feel smart for a second here?
Does, yes. We're high-class culture enjoyers, guys. Holst the Planets. Very, very fun song to play as well, because at least on the strings, you start out playing Col Legno, which is Italian for with wood, because you use the opposite side of your bow. Pretty fun.
Look at this.
Yeah, and it makes this really weird clinking sound. It's cool, man. It's cool.
It's cool. Schooling me. So we can see the Sweden Strong, by the way. Seeing every game he's been going for Glimmer Cave first item on Pugna 4. Makes sense. Pugna 4 needs to take advantage of that save. This game against Shadow Demon, Force Staff instead. Problem is, Demonic Purge also takes away the Force Staff. But Force Staff is more generically useful than Glimmer Cape against Shadow Demon, so it's still a better item. But it does suck. Pugna does get like really countered by Shadow Demon because you don't know what to build. Right? You go for Aether, but then Aether is for better Decreps, and what does that do? Nothing, because he also dispels those.
And honestly, with this build, if the Hawk does continue to go the same way as he did in Game 1, which, as a reminder, they did lose that game, he likes to go Nullifier after this. There's the big item, though, the big ticket now for Vitoon. Now that Aegis has been reclaimed, he's got Eye of Scotty, that move speed slow, not only versus the Visage, but again, versus the Windrunners. They've gone for another range mid laner. It is going to be very punishing. Navi, they smoke up immediately, wasting no time. They ignore the Bane Courier. They're not here for a Bane. They're here for bigger fish, but there's the Windrunners Courier. They're going to go ahead and follow that Courier to its destination and see what they can find.
Okay, that's very good. I thought actually that BetBoom was baiting, but instead they have been baited. As Force Major will be the target here. They're going to definitely kill off the 4. But can Laurel make it out of here alive? He's going to BKB TP. Dusa deals a fair amount of damage, but not enough. So at least they only lose 1. Not that big a deal, but I did think BetBoom was setting up really nicely for a bait. They had taken over the enemy triangle. They were smoked themselves, right? They could go and just kill NaVi, but they probably thought they weren't as strong, right now, or they didn't want to take this fight.
Yeah, but I mean, great patience by NaVi, right? No one cares about the couriers. They find a courier that they actually intend to follow, and it pays off big. Not only that, but the scan, because they knew there's no way Laurel is pushing like this when we're all missing off the map. Like, that's simply not a chance. Scan confirms it. Storm makes a great jump in. Immediate silence. Laurel's got to run. Great job by NaVi.
Yeah, exactly. I also liked how they were like, they actually just don't, the way that they initiated that as well from the side, right, trying to sweep in case they were hiding behind, as opposed to like going through a triangle, which would have been more dangerous. Everything about that team fight was really smart. Good disruption. That was a great disruption. What do you do now? Shackle shot. In fact, Lays could be in trouble. Lays. Dead. Easy. Go back to the Dragon Knight. They do have a Fiend script, but not in range to actually hit no one. He got hit by the Enfeeble. But his cast range reduction. Arena! What a beautiful arena. Does not pin him quite to the wall. Not needed. The Hawk has enough damage. Well played, Noticed.
And there's Laurel. He finally feels like he's at an advantage of this game. The tip comes out, Avo. Before last game on the Pango was during the laning stage. And now here at the 22-minute mark, I hear a BKB. That seemed to be an accident.
Who BKB'd?
Laurel.
Ah, it was Celebration BKB, right? There's the
Celebration
BKB,
yeah.
The Celebration
he
BKB.
wanted to tip, and then BKB immediately after. Yeah, seems to just be a simple mistake there. Kind of unfortunate for him.
People think BKBs are only for fighting, and that's like only the tip of the iceberg, really, in Dota. BKBs are used mostly for other things. Fighting is honestly the last thing you use them for.
Well, fortunately for Laurel, again, the teams don't know this, right? Only we do. Roche is going to be a long respawn. If this was a short respawn timer, it didn't have BKB for 40 seconds, oh my goodness, that would have been a huge opening for NaVi to exploit. They still might get him, though. Big smoke gank. 4 heroes clumped up by NaVi as they give him chase here for Laurel, who's going to power shot one more wave. He's got another one done in 2 seconds, but there's the jump in. They lose vision, but no one does manage to at least get off the Orchid. No BKB here. Disruption is good, but with the Fireball already placed down, that's a guaranteed kill now onto Laurel.
That BKB cost him his life there. That was really unfortunate, honestly. So Neko probably will die as well here as they chase after him. Goodbye, Soneko. And that's going to be a couple of kills going the way of NaVi. Also, I wanted to point out, because you talk about the Roche, you can tell that both teams are honestly on like the same wavelength, and also both teams are pro players. But the fact that they put the exact same ward here, if you can see it. In fact, they know the other team is there as well. There. I don't know if you can see my ping.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So they both put the exact same ward that is a relatively new-ish, Roshan ward that people have been doing. Hard to de-ward, but obviously NaVi respecting BP, understanding that they also want Roche, they de-ward this immediately. Really well played. And that's what you like about high-level Dota. When teams respect each other, they'll make these kind of plays where they know what the enemy team is doing, because there's one right play to make. There's one right strategy to use.
It's true. And while we still wait for 25 seconds for Roche to respawn, that's a perfect amount of time for me to belabor the point. That I really wish we had a map change, because you're right, this is a newer ward, but like the warding meta is just extremely stale right now, just to be plain. I mean, I really wish it would have changed in a while. We've had this map for a long time. The shard patch was pretty big, and that was when we had this patch. So, I'm really excited for a new meta, for a new meta of warding, because as a support, you kind of know where to put the sentries, you know where to put the ops.
Yes, I don't think
it's a good ward.
I don't think I've ever seen a... Yeah, that's why I say newish, because they're like as new as it comes.
Good jump.
Lays. Okay, nice to crap. There's a Fiend script as well for Lays, but it gets spelled by the Fiend script immediately. Nightmare. Okay, Laurel at least has the BKB. Lays is not going to die just yet. Laurel did activate the BKB to hit no one.
Arena?
Without the focus fire, it's difficult. The Arena's used for Fatoon, and Fatoon has out of mana. Can they actually kill him? They don't have the Phoenix Shield either to save him. Solo's too late. And that's going to be a kill on Fatoon.
They get the Windrunner, though.
Forced all of NaVi back and tore down this Dusa. Sweet and strong. He's saved by the Aphotic Shield. Solo's forced to use that borrowed time. But alongside him is a Mars walking by to get the spear. He's going to get the kill. Sweet and strong also in trouble. They do not have anything. They're actually going to let him go.
Nope, they do not. They will at least lose Windrunner in that fight, or at least NaVi do get that pick off. It's magic damage. Storm makes the jump in. Orchid, Vortex into just Pugna, continuing that life train there. Suck the life right out of that Windrunner. Make that Roshan is now available for the taking. I don't know if the Hawk completely has the damage. Once again, you can see the minus armor does start to come into play a little bit here with each of these corruption stacks. Again, one for Visage and one for each of the familiars. I say each because he still can get one more at 25. Alongside this AC, it's about minus 10 armor. They're getting through this, actually.
Did you comment on the Lotus Orb pickup by the way on the Hawk?
I have not.
Okay. Why? Is this for the DK?
It
I mean,
might
it obviously
be.
cancels Life Drain, but Life Drain is mostly a defensive spell. I mean, it's good against Vortex, I suppose. The spell is certainly useful against the Orchid.
It allows you to dispel this. Yes, you just said that. Yeah, I'm hard pressed to find another use of it, to be honest.
I guess if you play, I guess the way the Hawk plays the Visage, at least every game we've seen it, has been with like, I am not the real carry, right? Like I'm just like a glorified offlaner, and I let the Wind Ranger carry for me. I mean, they even gave her the Aegis, so that's the telling sign.
So I'm curious, right? Because you hover over Medusa's ability. Dota's got this kind of weird, kind of annoying thing when you're trying to learn it. Stone Gaze, right, cannot be dispelled. I know for a fact that means you cannot dispel Medusa while she's stone gazing. Can you dispel the stone form? Is that a thing?
No.
Okay.
When you turn to stone, no.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is just a psychic headband.
You can dispel the slow temporarily, but the tick will still.
Oh, that's a free psychic headband, and I actually reckon that's BB's. It is not. It's NaVi's. Okay.
Oh, it's not. Okay. That's great for Pugna. Probably the best item you can get this game. Force-Staff Blink is going to be the choice for him.
What the heck is this zip? Oh, just a TP zip. Cool.
It's just, please leave me alone. I don't want to die again to this Bane zip.
Yeah, true. Is there Lincoln's here being queued? There is for Storm. Not quite there yet, but he does have a full BKB.
This is the build that we see on Storms these days anyway, but obviously against a Bane, great choice. And then obviously you're going to go for the Ags afterwards in the Shard. This has been delayed for no one, but at least you have a Medusa to cover your high ground. The high ground for NaVi is still really, really good, so it's not like BetBoom has this just because they're doing much better than Game 1. They do have a longer duration, though, for the wind opportunity this game as the Orchid comes by. Wind Ranger,
good save.
Saved by Disruption.
Yep. And they even had a Lotus on top, right? So really Laurel had no need to press BKB there, even if it was to celebrate.
I'm glad that we've established it's canon now.
It was a celebration BKB, we all know.
Yeah, we all know. We have the Daedalus almost built on him, by the way, 300 gold, but they're going to push this tower. Probably don't overcommit for this. Yeah, just push the tower casually and go leave. Build that Daedalus afterwards. He's got it. There we go. Daedalus is huge. Again, Dusa, for example, one of the matchups that she struggled against a lot when this was a thing was the MP carrier, MP mid, because of how much damage he deals to a single target. She's similar against Wind Ranger, right? So that's why she doesn't need to build a Fusel Blade. It's not about the burning mana. It's just there's too much damage, and Dusa is great at destroying everyone in the team fight, but bad at killing a single target. That's where Storm usually comes in, but with a BKB on Wind Ranger, he's safe from Storm for the game.
Yes, and Dusa is forced to go for the MKB. I mean, there's simply really no other option to do against the Windrunner. Dusa as well, unless it's a very specific matchup, for example, like PL, doesn't really go for any other unique attack modifier, like a Basher or a Mjolnir that would proc through evasion, right? Yeah. So yeah, MKB is just a necessity that will slow the progression of her item. Still not a bad item because it's a lot of damage for Dusa and allows you to actually 1v1 the Windrunner. But, you know, it's going to delay her own, I guess, Shadowblade, Silver Edge? She's just going for the Crystallis first? Yeah, probably.
I think it's Silver Edge eventually. You probably sell the Dragonlance for that Silver Edge. You still have to deal with the Visage, right? But obviously, you can tell that even Dusa is acknowledging the real problem here is the Wind Ranger. She's the win condition, not the Visage, right?
Laurel's on the hunt top as well. He's looking for Lace.
Okay, and so they don't have anyone else to be the dead laner, so Lace is going to have to fulfill that role.
Good grip.
But he dies.
Good grip. Just guarantee it, right? It's going to delay the BKB. That's why he's out here, right? He wants to get this 900 gold that he needs for the Black King bar and join his two other cores. Oh, sorry, his one other core, pardon me, because Dusa does have one queued up, but is after the Crystallis for some magic immunity. Notice, thinking about making a jump here. He's got a ward, and now it's going to be dewarded, and instead they're going to look for Solo, who, of course, can just save himself.
They're going
to heal him back up to full, but great arena. They catch 3. Fatoon, Stone Form.
Stone Gaze has been used. That's going to save him for a while. Force Mage actually has a BKB, and that keeps him alive against the Storm. As they leave SeekNStrike behind, Sweden will die. Noticed, thinking of the skill against Solo, he's trying to push him back. The spear is good. Even if it was a sideways spear, it worked out. NaVi lose 3. And they force the Stone Gaze, which means now, NaVi, how do you defend high ground?
40 less seconds left of Aegis, pardon me. For Laurel, the Hawk immediately back up. It was a great place for them to fight as well. They got the last Drums charge actually to use here for this next push. That's another big old zip. The Hawk, of course, doesn't care because he's got Gravekeeper's Cloak stacks, and they will lose Aegis. They're fine with that. It was up in 30 seconds anyway. Oh, Vatoon, I think he dodged the spear there with the match style. Notice trying to TP out, but there's enough damage. It just missed.
Yeah, that spear was not going to hit. It was quite far. Yeah. I mean, it was a hopeful... Getting a snapback spear is really difficult, so fair enough. They also get the Bane. It's one of those plays where I probably wouldn't recommend doing that when you're like just winning a little bit, right? Because it's honestly a really difficult to play to make because the spear has a forever animation. It's unlike Skewer where you have the shockwave to set it up for it, right? And the search radius, I guess you call it, right, for when you skewer someone is not as generous as Skewer. So that was a bit of a overzealous play.
Yeah.
But you know, you get excited sometimes. It's not really that big a deal. You didn't take the tower though, which is a bigger deal.
This is pretty cool. I didn't know that. So Visage always had the move speed talent for the familiars ever since the talents got added. I guess they buffed it. I didn't
Now it's
really
for
notice this
Visage
one. Now it's for Visage too, and that's pretty nice, especially with the Ag Scepter. Flying
quite
Vision
fast.
with 455, a little bit more now, even though he got Tranquils delivered and the move speed went down. It's going to be a little bit more. So not bad. It's Flying Vision, you know, having great movement speed, like a Night Stalker, like a Wyvern, right, when that was kind of meta, is always really punishing. Hard to play against.
Moon speed's great. Do you think it's going to go for the familiar, by the way, at level 25, or is there ever an argument for the Gravekeeper's Cloak talent?
That's a different one, actually. It used to be +2 Gravekeeper's Cloak stacks,
Yes.
which was really good, especially if enemies struggled to get through your stacks, because it gave you 120% damage block, right, at max stacks. Now that one's interesting. Is it 10 armor per stack, or is it just 10 armor passively?
Oh, I hope. Oh, right. I actually.
Because I have no clue. Again, this hero has kind of been dead except for Dahak. I'm gonna look into it now, actually, on the wiki. But I suspect it's just I suspect it's just the 10 armor. I think the +1 familiar is always better.
It's fine then, right? Because at least then you can't like take that away, so it's like free 10 armor. So it's like essentially like a plate mail. But I agree, the familiar is much better. All right. Again, Visage competitive. How do you know what to do with this hero? Especially level 25. What do you see at level 25 Visage in general and competitive? As Laurel also reaches that level 20. He got the Focus Fire damage reduction, huge with Daedalus. He's gone for a bit of a mixed build as well. Wind Ranger usually doesn't need too many damage items because of the Focus Fire. So she did manage to go for the BKB and the Blink Dagger to be able to get those shackle shots in. No one closing in on that level 20. He's going to go for the Linkage next. But still a while till no one can be that impactful Storm we're used to seeing. That Orchid really delayed the timing of Ag's Shard, Ag's Aghanim Scepter, and Shard, which is the mega combo that everyone loves on Storm. Though this game with Adusa, maybe you can get away with just Ags. Maybe. Because Dusa does deal a lot of area damage. And, of course, Dusa, once she hits at level 25, Split Shot uses modifiers. That's going to be the key talent here. I've seen 75 intelligence, but usually against a lot of sustained damage like Wind Ranger and Visage, not the best.
Okay, so I can confirm it's just +10 armor, which is nice because you can't break it, and it also goes to your familiars, which makes them a lot tankier.
Are you sure you can't break it? Because it just says Great
you can't break it. No, you can't break it. It's just a passive. Remember, it's like you can't break any talent passives, right?
Why, no, but this adds to the passive, right? So if you said, like, for example, 2 more Gravekeeper's Cloak stacks, you could break the whole thing.
The problem is that even when Visage has 0 Gravekeeper's Cloak stacks, he still gives the aura to his units, right?
Okay.
It's just 0, so it doesn't do anything. Right. But here it actually does.
We get Boots of Bearing now finished on Visage. We forgot that he actually didn't build this item until really late this game.
Look at his move speed, by the way. 540 move speed.
Yeah, that's how Drum's activated as well.
And,
obviously, it's with Axe, though. Okay, nice jump by Natus once again. Batoon is forced to use the Stone Gaze super early. They're waiting him immediately for the Fiend Script. Yeah, that Stone Gaze just kind of cancelled. Wind Ranger, though, could be in trouble.
Second arena.
The Fiend Script. Yeah, they're stuck in the arena, but they need the help from the Bane. They're waiting for the Abaddon to die, though. They got rid of that borrowed time, and in fact, Batoon will just fall. So Neeko not really needed towards the very end, as they got rid of Solo as well. SeekNStrike died easily. They killed off Laze. That Fiend's Grip, they get used, but just for the last few seconds there, as the Dusa was falling regardless. Destruction of Navi. These arenas by Natus are so good.
I just wanted to comment on that. I think these team fights don't even look a quarter as good for BetBoom. But basically, Dahak is actually allowed to play the game because compared to Game 1, the arenas are blocking all of Medusa's projectiles. She's constantly getting caught inside of these arenas. I don't know really what the big difference maker is between Game 1 and Game 3 here, but my goodness, Dusa just has no time now. Disrupted constantly as well, even during Stone Gaze. It's just been so frustrating for her.
I'll tell you what the difference maker is the Storm, right? Last game, you had DK and Lesh, which would both be the frontliners that would actually give you vision in the beginning of the fight, so it would block Natus the initiation. Especially because Lesh is one of the best heroes at blocking Blink Daggers, right? If you're just walking into the enemy, Pulse Nova activated, Nova Blink Dagger for you.
That's
But
it.
now, with the Storm has to get the jump on the Hawk. He also has to get this jump on the Wind Ranger. And he did. He killed Laurel. Congratulations. But that means the Deuce is getting killed by the rest of the lineup.
Yeah, and I really like this Boots of Baron, actually. Or I never thought of this, but you're just flying around the map with just so much vision. You're just like combat air patrol. You're just always ready to fight, basically, seemingly with this ultimate. Because Silence is the Grave has about a 5-second downtime. No, it has no downtime, actually. 45-second cooldown.
No.
And what's the duration here?
No, it
Long.
has 10-second downtime. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Used
don't
to
know
have
why they
5.
got cooldown twice. I got confused by that too. Yeah, but it's a 10-second downtime, which is not that much. Also, on point is the Shadow Demon, Force Major, who has gone for the PKB, making him an unkillable target for Storm.
Solo's going to reveal that, yes, we are smoked, but BB, they've got a secondary ward to fight under, and they're going to find the DK here. Arena erected yet again. SwedenStrong caught inside, but no one making the jump out of the backline. Seneko in a bit of trouble as Batoon, this time free to actually hit everyone. Turns Seneko to stone, gets the kill. Force Major forced to run, has BKB, is not going to use it, so no one doesn't kill him, but it's going to be Laurel and Dahawk, who are right on a V-Tune. He gets the BKB up, but he's still losing the mano a mano. He's down, doesn't have buyback for a whole minute and a half. And now Solo is going to end up dying here. Does get off at least borrowed time. That's going to give a little bit more time for no one to make the jump in, but he finds himself speared now by Natus and focused down. The Lincoln Sphere broken. Decrepify is going to save him for another second, but taken down by Dahawk. That's 2 cores down then from NaVi. So it will at last get Force Major, but Solo likely to pay for this one with his own life. There's a buyback from the Storm, though, and in pretty deep is going to be Natus. That's going to be an easy kill here for no one. He's looking for more, but the blink from Laurel gets him to safety. No one continuing to give chase. The Orchid is there. No one still with a little bit more mana, but Laurel doesn't take the soul burn damage. In fact, he turns, finds the leash, and there's the kill from Dog. 4 in the fight. He's looking now to get SwedenStrong, as they will at last get through Laurel. He's going to buy back. There's Lays. Force Major's going to steal a Rampage, but Dahawk can still look for more here. He's on the run, and he's got another Silence as the Grave ready, but no one else in the area, and that's going to be BoomBet getting a dieback on no one and killing the Deusa.
What an impactful Lotus, man. Dispels the Silence, then forces, or DK stuns himself as a result. That was huge. And now they force the buyback on DK.
They're trying to end.
Alone. They are trying to end. Here comes the Pug. Now they're going to delay this as much as possible. Solo is going to be the main frontline tank here. They go for the Hawk. The Hawk could be in trouble potentially here, but there's just not enough damage on these 3 heroes.
They killed the Familiar. There's just back in 5.
Medusa, though.
Yeah, I think they have to back. I think this is way too risky. At least get the gem. Yes, get the gem. There it is. Okay. Nope. Get the Hawk. Get the go. One more time. Third time. There we go. Okay.
It's hard. You know, yeah, micro the inventory. They got the Zelator on the Hawk as well to push that faster, but Deusa does manage to arrive in time here. Thank God they did save a lot of time there for Batoon.
And Roche is up. It's perfect. Without Storm, there's no way they can get in here. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it feels like NaVi have no choice.
No, they have to fight, but it's too late. Does Natus have the arena? He's not even alive.
So Neko with the ward as well. He's going to buy so much time. Laurel's got Ags.
Ags for Wind Ranger as well. It's undispellable, which is kind of useful, but I don't think you should actually eat it. Are they give it to who?
Bane, maybe?
Oh, my load is lagging out.
I'll let you know. It's still currently in the backpack of Laurel. They have not made a decision. Probably not Mars.
It's not Laurel anymore. Oh, it's Shadow Demon. It's Force Major. Okay, I get it with the Force Major.
Oh,
yeah. His own.
Oh, yeah, for sure, actually. Yeah, of course. How could I forget?
At some point.
Yeah, and then he gets Shard, and good luck trying to do anything.
Major.
Yeah.
I would honestly sell the point booster just to buy the Shard. I know he's being useful with his items and going for Octarine. Just get the Shard, dude. That is so strong. Now that you got a free Ags off that off that Roche.
Feels kind of bad, because if you had gotten any of the other components, you could turn it into an Aeon disc at least, but...
Yeah, but that's why. I really don't care. Like, he's going for Octarine Core, which is the most useful thing, but I really think Shard would be huge for the Shadow. He's also going to go for the level 25 talent. He's got given the Tone. 2 charges Disruption, I would say, is probably the better talent because it's so impactful this game.
Yep. And by the way, now, Dahawk is basically hitting with 2 Desolators when he can hit with all of his units, including himself, because of this 1.5 armor corruption. And that's a good one here. Yep, he'll take that. Doesn't affect his units, but yeah, again, the minus armor is pretty crazy. So what is that? Minus 12 with Deso, minus another 5 with AC, so minus 17 armor. And let's see how. I mean, this tier 2 is basically already dead, but that's mighty fast.
I mean, when it's the outer towers, you can't risk it here. Your only chance is high ground for NaVi, and they also, I mean. Really, the chance that NaVi has to have is just stop Mars from getting this crazy good arenas, right? He has 2 arenas now, of course.
Oh, it's so hard. Yeah, I was going to say.
He's had Refresher Orb for a little bit, but now with the Ninja Gear on top of that, the initiation is just kind of easy for him, and they have nobody to frontline. Solo has to be really well positioned, but Solo can't be the one to frontline if he's also the one to save Vatoon, right? So Solo is in this really difficult situation, you know, between a rock and a hard place, where he doesn't know what to play. Does he give the vision that DK should be providing, or does he save the Medusa? And if he's not giving the vision, can DK be good enough to do that? We'll see.
It's also mighty difficult. It's been, frankly, quite a low-kill game for NaVi. We've seen this, of course, in Game 3s in these playoffs before, especially in our last series versus Spirits and BetBoom. It was a little bit slow. But that means there's just absolutely no gold on Solo. This would have been a fantastic game. He could have played up front. And by the way, he is maxing stats instead of giving Curse to the Disruptor Illusions. Or sorry, not Disruptor, the Disruption Illusions. But this would have been a hell of a game for like a Holy Locket and then Ags, which basically gives your team 80% damage reduction while you're active on the borrowed time. Yeah, he's just got no chance to farm those items this game. It's not really been.
No, of course not.
I mean, Storm takes all the farm. Dusa takes whatever's left. I mean, it's been difficult.
You're bad, dude. You're the last man. You're getting whatever scraps Dusa doesn't want to eat. This is like the platform, but Dota version.
And while, yeah, that's a good one. And while Dusa still, you know, she's at the top of that platform, it's 4 consecutive heroes taking the next spots. Of course, Force Major is going to be greatly aided by the 5,800 net worth benefit he does get from the Aghanim's Blessing, but still, you know, he's feeling himself. And now he has money for Shard, but probably going to, well, he doesn't have buyback for 3 minutes. We'll see what he does here. Demonic Cleanse is good, especially with 3 charges of it.
Yes, but he doesn't buy it, though. I will ask him, though. I will ask what is up. Some teams just don't like the Shard at all, and I remember talking to Duster about it. He's like, I don't understand. These people are crazy.
So Neko has the Helm. He's probably just waiting to see if he can get a Harpy. We'll see what spawns here in a couple seconds.
Creep you want with the Helm.
Not really. The Hawk, don't block it. Okay, it's that's not Kobolds. That's not what he wants. The other camp is the Harpy camp, actually.
Nice.
Over on the Radiant side. But I don't know if BetBoom want to be over there. They have this Aegis now for less than a minute. So, and with the DD rune now popped, it seems like, yeah, the hour is nigh. And there's Vatoon. He's been caught. He does have the mana shield up. He's got BKB. Can he get up the Stone Gaze? The second spear with the refresh. Not even for the arena. That's going to nuke Vatoon.
Look at the Frost Mage go! The man is the real tank here. As Lara will double damage, will continue to attack these towers now. Shackle shot to stop the abandon for a second. But Dude has to buy back here. There's no more chances. Oh my god, the throne's falling so fast! They do buy back. They go for the Bane. The Fiend script was a really big deal here. But
they have to stop the Hawk. He's going to end the game.
They killed the Bane now. The Hawk is going to try to push this out, but the Hawk's been forced away. It's now Nora's turn to hit this.
Here he goes again.
Fast.
Oh, it's so fast.
The Ancient is over. BetBoom will win the series. NaVi dropped down to the lower bracket, and BetBoom, what a revival for them. Now putting themselves in a really good situation. Oh, what was that?
I have no clue. Yeah.
To secure the Aegis. Sorry, to secure the place for the Major. My bad. That broke my brain there.
Yeah, I mean, this is, may I remind you, the 8th seed who's now taken down Team Spirit, who's now taken down NaVi, who took down Hellraisers, right, who I think a lot of people had as not really a shoo-in, but perhaps certainly at least a major contender, well, for the Major. But BetBoom, I mean, the Hawk basically during that final fight says, you know what, guys? You didn't let me rat during game 1. I'm going to rat right now. Completely ignores everyone else. But Vatoon on the buyback. A beautiful arena, especially on that second life, but crucially only refreshing for the spear. Notice he knew exactly what the amount of resources he needed was there just to control the Dusa and get the second kill. Crucially saves arena for the second life. And there's just nothing that NaVi can do to stop that push. Amazing game.
Honestly, really well played. I feel like it's also a really nice progression as to what this Visage strat was, right? Visage was the crux of this whole draft. NaVi thought they could counter in the first game. They did, but then later on, it seemed like BetBoom, like they really baited the Dusa. They really did, right? When they banned those heroes, they didn't ban the Dusa. They said, okay, do Dusa again. We don't feel like Dusa was as strong a hero as you guys thought, and they were right about it. The Bane completely the Bane was a nuisance, right? But it was really the Mars that just noticed played 10 times better this game. The Storm pick also did have a bit of an impact there, of course, and the Wind Ranger, which also helped just tear the Dusa tear the Dusa to shreds. Sorry.
A point of analysis, if I may offer one, right? NaVi with a pretty strikingly similar draft to Game 1, right? The biggest difference really being Solo's hero. Game 1, he was able to play the Treant Protector, a hero that is made to tank smoke ganks. yes, solo on the Ebba maybe arguably is a better hero, but this game he needed to be behind the Dusa to be able to offer a dispel to either him or to any one of his other cores. That meant no one was really in a comfortable position to break smokes. Dusa doesn't want to do it, obviously. DK, you'd rather have him go in and blink stun, and the Pugna was kind of sitting behind and trying to offer the sustain, right? That meant that as compared to game one, where I believe Natus was also on the Mars, he was able to get these incredible jumps because he wasn't being stopped by a tree, he wasn't being stopped by an overgrowth, and the counter initiation just wasn't, frankly, as good.
And the Lesh, who also could do that, right? The Lesh kind of fulfilled that role in the early game. Also, being a great Blink Dagger canceller, didn't really happen in this game because he had the Storm. Again, not really to the fault of that pick necessarily. The Storm was necessary for the Wind Ranger later, but you had to do something else. Obviously, of course, the DK was also an issue here because when you pick DK with Treant, that's fine. You get some team fight in your supports. But your supports all of a sudden have Abaddon and Pugna. So your team fight is concentrated now more on the Dusa, more on the Storm. They have to get the great jump. And now DK, I mean, look, DK can only play so well. He stuns one hero. That's his job. You know, there's nothing else you can do. There's no outplay potential on DK. DK, you know, his floor is here, his ceiling is here, right? So I feel like there's only so much that we could ask of poor Destroyed here. And he did get a bit useless towards that late game, right? It just felt like his stun was not impactful enough. They didn't have the burst damage to combine it with, and they also lacked the counter initiation. That's another thing that Treant brings to the table. Treant is a great counter initiator. DK, really more of an initiator. Yeah, Dragon Tail is annoying if you're initiating, but it's really more about the being able to jump someone down. And that's why a lot of these initiations were much easier. So a lot of aspects went well. You can see how Dota is all about a game of details, and how interesting that BetBoom regained their confidence, or they maintained it rather, and they stuck with their original draft. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, that's quite a beautiful thing, right? A bit of an adjustment. That's something that when I cast with Kip, she's always very keen to point out, right? The kind of meta draft that develops even within a best-of-3 series, right? Where you get to start teams question themselves or not question themselves and make adjustments where they think the problems were. It seems like this time around, BetBoom get it absolutely correct. They take game one as a learning experience. They come back in game two, immediately get first blood in a 4-1, very, very bloody fight before the horn. They move on to take that game. Game three, even though NaVi knew what was coming, BetBoom are still able to get the surprise here and win 2-1. What a series for them. And that means that they will be moving on to the first finals here already here, the upper bracket finals, which does give BetBoom 3 opportunities, I believe, to qualify here to the Stockholm Major.
Yes. Yes. And it will mean that NaVi will have to go through the lower brackets, right? Or sorry, they'll have to go to lower brackets now to make it into the first opportunity. They still have better opportunities, of course, than their Hellraisers, for example, or Team Spirit. It's going to be a bloodbath tomorrow. But at least they only managed to avoid that matchup for now. BetBoom, crazy. You ask people what team you'd expect them to go to the major, and probably people would have said BetBoom, but they're showcasing why they're the team that deserves it the most right now.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to question it, right? You beat Spirit and you beat NaVi. It's such in that fashion. 3-game series as well, where there's lots of back and forth. I mean, the games are competitive, but at the end of the day, BetBoom always taking it. And what a team, man.
Yeah. And what a team. We'd like to ask some questions to, right, as we do have an interview here with one of the BetBoom players.
I believe it's the coach, actually.
The coach.
Yeah, it's a coach. Hello, guys.
Hello. Congratulations on your win. Great plays today.
Yeah, thank you. It was like, not so confident as we wanted, but the main thing we won, so we are happy. We're moving next, and we have good chances to make it to the major. We are close enough for this.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and certainly competitive enough. I wanted to ask you, because you brought up your confidence. Certainly game one a little bit shakier, but to me it didn't really seem like you guys lacked confidence going for the Visage 3 games in a row. Can you kind of walk me through what kind of gave you guys that confidence to keep trying it out?
The plan was, the part of plan was like, to force them to ban this hero, so we might have another hero not ban it. But why we pick it after first game? For example, we still was confident in this hero. It's just the main thing, like we understood that we played bad in first game. As you see, first game we lost against Medusa. Third game we won against Medusa. Yeah. We have a bit better supports, and mid hero, like for example in first game Storm, it's not a good hero against Medusa in late game, but Wind Ranger it's a different thing. Wind Ranger can always kill Medusa, even in late game. So what to say? Like they was banning some heroes. We picked Visage, like 3 games with Visage, 1 lost to win. GG.
For that second game, you guys did ban the Dusa though. Was that like to do a mental reset for the team?
We have a free ban. Like, it was a
Okay.
different situation when we banning from first pick and when we banning from second pick. Like, Duze still was kind of, annoying hero, like with this Pagna. So, yeah. But in third game, like, we didn't have option to ban Medusa, and we was expecting to play against Medusa, so in second stage, as you saw, we was picking Bane and Shadow Demon. Both heroes are kinda good. The only problem was in our draft, I would say, lack of control. But enemy draft was also, like for example, they didn't have burst. Playing with
Yes.
DK, you always wanna have burst. And all their initiation, like we have 2 heroes that can save each other and save anyone from our team. Like we have some kind of counter initiation. I don't know. Like third game, yeah, it was much easier than it was in the first game for sure.
Okay.
Like, yes, I'm done.
I wanted to ask you in that third game when the Dusa pick came out, did you want them to pick it? Like, was it a little bit of a bait? Did you feel like you guys could beat them and they didn't realize that yet?
Uh, like we expected,
Yeah.
as I said, that they will pick. Not sure about baited. We just was preparing for Medusa pick. So, and we didn't saw the other good option for them, except Medusa. I would say it was good move from NaVi that they picked Storm on 15. It was really good because Puck was banned and they already saw that we have not much control against Storm. Like Storm almost in every game, kinda. It's becoming boring to play against Storm or with Storm in every game. But sometimes Storm still losing. It's strong hero, but like in second game, for example, with our Chen, they just didn't have burst
Right.
enough damage. Same was in third game. So I don't know. I don't even know what they could pick instead of Medusa. It was not so easy to choose a right hero. Like we was banning Phantom Lancer and Phantom Assassin just because we know that Vitune like to play these heroes a lot, and they was looking scary against our matchup against Visage and Mars. So
Coach Mag, if I could just ask you just one more overarching question. You've been coaching this team basically since its inception of this roster, which has been quite some time now, I believe. Where do you think the team has really improved? Like, what are your biggest strengths now that you see you guys have?
the players improved a lot, especially young players. After all this period, like you said that I was coaching, not only coaching, like me and Saneko was simply creating and building this team, this roster. Yeah, the main thing that young players progressed a lot for all this period, and we become more confident as a team. What to say? Like in this period without DPC, we was practicing a lot and just getting all this. We was just getting better and better.
Yeah. And it shows. The results definitely are showing it as well. Congratulations once again on your victory. As we close the interview, we'd like to ask you back if you have any shout-outs you'd like to give to your fans, maybe your sponsors.
No, not much. I'm kinda tired. It's a late
Fair.
game. Yeah, of course, the shout out to my teammates. They did well today, and yeah, I hope we can make it to the major. Thank you guys for having me in interview.
Thank you for coming.
And yes, and goodbye. Good night.
Yes,
Goodbye.
goodbye, Matt. Good night, and
Good luck.
have a good day tomorrow, Matt. GG, well played.
Thank you.
What is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
That was nice. It's nice to hear from the coach sometimes as well, because again, if you hear from any Eastern European interviews, I recommend you watch almost all of them because they do not save strats. I've never had an Eastern European player tell me, "Oh, maybe we shouldn't say this in an interview." They just go. In fact, the only player that once told me that was actually FNG. He doubted it because he was on Alliance before. He's like, "Actually, I'll tell you anyway." And so that's just the style there. You get to learn a lot of Dota from them. They reveal a lot of their thought process because the idea in many cases is we're just good. Like it's not going to be a sort of sneaky thought or surprise factor that wins the game. We're just good, and that I think is what BetBoom showed it. It's not a cheese team. It's not a team that's like one trick pony or a fluke team. It's a team that's just improved a lot, and they're playing some great Dota as we saw here. But we have more great Dota to be played, right, Richie? Or at least it's going to be played tomorrow.
It is. I believe it is going to be played tomorrow. If we want to take a look at our bracket, if I'm not mistaken, we are going to be doing the lower bracket round 1 tomorrow, which is, of course, going to have our Team Spirit and Hellraisers matchups and the CRS Rejects versus PuckChamp matchups, right? The losers of round 1. At the current stage, the losers of those matches will be the bottom 2 teams and relegated to Division 2 at the conclusion of this playoff. So a lot at stake here, especially because either Spirit or Hellraisers are going to end up missing not only this major, but the final summer major of the season over in Texas. So yeah, same of course for Rejects and PuckChamps. A lot on stake there. And then we're also going to be doing the Outsiders and Mind Games game as well tomorrow.
Exactly. So you can come up and tune in for those games. Best way to do so is just following Beyond the Summit on Facebook. I'm too Spanish about this. On Twitch and of course on Twitter, and that way you can find when the games are going to be located. In Twitter, they also post a lot of the highlights and of course the scores. If you're only there to be your results, Randy, it's okay. We respect you. But for now, this is the broadcast for today. Thank you for watching all of Mind Games games. I mean, you guys are true troopers. We respect you so much, and we hope to see you tomorrow for some more Eastern European Dota. We won't be here, but there's going to be some very capable casters to take you through those wonderful games. It's been a pleasure once again. My name is Avo Plus, here with SeekNStrike Dota for the EU special surprise tournament created by Beyond the Summit. And we'll see you guys when we see you. Goodbye.